What is up, you guys? Welcome to another Tuesday with Spencer here on FTM Transtastic. Before I start, if you hear any squeaking, it's Gracie in the background. She is very talkative today for some reason, so don't disregard all that. This week we are discussing the bathroom bill, or the HB2 law that was passed in North Carolina. Now, I'm not going to talk about how horrendous this bill is, because I feel like everybody who watches this channel agrees that this bill is the worst thing to happen to trans people since ever. But I do want to talk about like the legal problems with this bill, as well as the people that this bill mostly affect, because just a different, I guess, side of it, because we all know that this bill is garbage. So first, if we're going to look at this bill solely from a legal point of view, there are too many holes in this bill for it to even have passed. So that's kind of what's like super absurd to me. The fact that legislation literally let an incomplete bill deemed passable is just like blows my mind. But I can think of three off the top of my head. The first one is the fact that there is no groundwork or plan set up for this bill. So there is no idea or blueprint on how they were, one, going to enforce the bill. It is literally impossible for them to assign a police officer or a security guard to every gendered stall in North Carolina. So how they're going to even enforce this bill has no blueprint, and no one has any idea what they're going to do. The second one is the fact that there is no law stating in North Carolina nor in any of the states that a birth certificate is a required document to have on you at all times. So if you were arrested going into a bathroom that you are accused of being in the wrong gender, and in fact your birth certificate is changed, or you are in fact the person who expresses themselves to go into this bathroom, then you will be under what is known as an unlawful detainment. It is illegal for somebody to arrest you on a premise of hearsay. It is also illegal for somebody to arrest you on a premise of stereotypes. This is known as gender profiling. So if you were to be arrested and you are going into the bathroom that matches your birth certificate, then you can sue the state for unlawful detainment. And the amount of lawsuits that will come from that would probably, again, quickly bankrupt the state. So I don't understand how they can make a bill when it's not necessary or required to carry a birth certificate, and they based it on your birth certificate, which is something that you don't have to have. So that whole thing kind of also, I don't know what they were thinking at all. And the third like legal hole that I think is kind of really big and slap in the face is the fact North Carolina, like 18 other states in the United States, actually allows you to change your birth certificate as a trans person. In North Carolina, you have to be on testosterone for 2 years, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's 2 years, or you have to have at least one surgery. Now, this is problematic for people who do not want to go on testosterone or cannot go on testosterone or estrogen, as well as people who do not want to have surgeries or cannot have surgeries. But if you are a trans person who wants to do all these things and are able to do all these things, then you can get your birth certificate changed, which comes up to the idea of which birth certificate are they basing this off of. Are they basing it off your original or the amended one? There's a lot of talk that they're basing it off of the original. I haven't seen any actual literature stating that they are, or which one they're basing it off of, so I do not know. But if they are basing it off of the original birth certificate, then that is also illegal, because as soon as the birth certificate is amended, the original one holds no legal matter. It is void. So the fact that they're basing something off of a void legal document is illegal. Like, they can't do that. You can't base something off of a void document. So again, this doesn't make any sense. Legally, there is too many holes that are overlooked when making this bill, and it doesn't make any damn sense. I honestly just don't know what the fuck they were thinking about, and it blows my mind how much fear has caused them to overlook just basic law writing like things that they allowed this to pass. So that's like the legal standpoint, the holes from it. Who is actually affected or really affected by this law, in my opinion, is the trans women of color, as well as non-binary androgynous people, or people who do not blend into normal gender society. With that being said, if I was to be living in North Carolina, I would still use the male's bathroom. Even though I identify as non-binary, I express very masculinely. I've been on testosterone for a year and 2 months now. My voice is deep, though I wish it was deeper, but my voice is deep. And I'm, 6'1", so I'm able to express pretty masculinely. And no one's going to be like, I don't know what gender this person is, because I have not been read as female since I was like maybe 7 months on T or 6 months on T. So people are just going to be like, that's a guy, and call it a day. So it really hurts the non-binary and androgynous people, because if they don't want to be on T, or they like to present like androgynous or whatever the case is, anything where like society will like view as like weird or different or like in between, they're at higher risk of being called and being a victim of this bill. Another place is the trans women of color, and that's simply because we all are law-abiding citizens, and even though we hate this bill, we all are going to do our best to stay within the law. So if you are a trans woman of color and you go into the men's restroom because of the bill and you express very feminine, then you are at a higher risk of verbal assault or physical assault and harassment, which is just sad and terrifying. Yes, it can be said the same for trans men who go into the women's restroom, but if we're speaking stereotypically and statistically, men are more likely to cause verbal or violent assault and harassment than women are. So even though we may face this going into the women's restroom, we're at a lower risk of facing the verbal and physical harassment that the trans women are facing. So it leaves them really with only two choices. The first is to not present what they wish to and to look more masculine or whatever the case is, or to roll the die. And I really cannot understand how this bill passed, and it's really just heartbreaking for me. But one of the things that I do want to bring to everyone's attention is that we have so much support. For one, the federal government has set a lawsuit against North Carolina for infringing on basic human rights, which to me is like a huge deal, because our government, our president, the federal government is standing with us and saying that this is wrong. On top of that, North Carolina has lost so much music, movie, and entertainment money because people have pulled out as a protest against this law. So many people, so many high-profile people who are cisgendered or straight, or who just simply do not understand what it means to transition and what it means to be a transgender person in this country, are saying, you know what, I may not understand, but I agree that this is bullshit and I'm not going to stand for it. And they're speaking up, which I think is a beautiful thing and is an important thing to put out. So I do want to let everybody know there's a light at the end of this horrendous struggle, that people are banding together with us, and we are on the road to hopefully repeal this horrendous bill. It is not, I don't think it's too far off, to be honest with you. Either they're just going to bankrupt themselves, or it's going to rule in our favor when the government takes the lawsuit against North Carolina. So I hope you guys are having a great week and are gearing up for an even better weekend. I am so sorry that this is going up late. I was doing a lot of, it's Memorial Day weekend if you didn't know, even though it's Tuesday. I was doing a lot of Air Force stuff, so that's why I was late. So I hope you guys are having a great week, gearing up for an even better weekend. It is Tuesday. It is Spencer. Until next time.